you guys full well know that I do things for this podcast, and I don't care if I humiliate myself.
That's why we love you, Dan.
Yeah. Thought that was the podcast itself.
I did a speed dating thing.
Interesting.
Very recently. And well, I don't want to go too much into that. Maybe you guys can roast me towards the end of the podcast. For
I'd like to.
We'll bookmark it. We'll bookmark
I
it.
have questions on how that even works.
So I'll go first.
So, Mr. Pedro, I had met you earlier that day to have a couple drinks because I did not want to do this.
Yeah.
It was very much not my vibe. But I'm like, well, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this with a few drinks in my system. Yeah. So I met with you, had a few drinks, show up there, make an ass out of myself.
I could not imagine raw dogging that sober.
No, I agree.
Any lookers?
There's a few girls that
I for a moment heard hookers.
Yeah.
I'll be honest. That's just
You hear
I
what,
did have to
you hear
I'm
what you
shitty
want to
hearing
hear.
at my age.
You hear what you want to hear.
I did have to process that. I did also think you said hookers, but I'm like, no, he said lookers.
Remember the roastings at the end?
Yes,
Oh,
yes.
Yeah, I know.
So this is where this event was at. It's at a place that a mutual friend of ours, she owns and operates it. And one of the reasons I actually went, I was like, oh, I know someone there. So, if I humiliate myself, at least I'll have an audience.
Yes.
So go through evening, whatever. I leave super early because I don't care.
My bitches.
Yeah, I legit, I left 10 minutes early.
Somebody was sitting at a table by themselves waiting for you to sit down with
If
them.
we go into this later on, I can tell you exactly what happened, and it's hilarious.
Okay.
But-
Fantastic.
So
But-
stick around.
Stick around, folks. It's going to get good.
But so I went back home. It's like 7 o'clock. And I'm like, all right, it's still a Saturday night. I don't want to stay home like a loser. So I went out to a local bar that I had never gone to before. And I'm texting with, Mechanic about a future podcast. I'm texting with our friend about the evening.
Mhm.
And she said, I got tipped $6. And this is an event that took place from 5 to 7 o'clock on a Saturday night.
Oof.
$6 and 2 of them were from me. And 2 were from someone that wasn't even participating in the event. They just walked in. I'm like, hey, I got this thing going on. Can I please just get a coffee? And she's like, yeah, sure. Here we go.
Yeah.
$2.
Wow.
And to give you some scope, there was about, if you don't include me, I think there was about 20 people there.
Mhm.
So
Oh my
that
goodness.
math is
No.
awful.
Well, good thing you didn't hook up with anyone because they're all poor. And you don't want that.
All right, guys. It's time to roast me.
All right. All right.
All right. So what did the gentleman look like?
That's really funny that you say that.
Oh.
So
His name was Hank, and
name
he's actually a Jim.
we'll go with Hank because I don't really want to dine this
fair.
gentleman out.
Oh, so there's a second date.
So what happened was I get there, obviously 4 drinks in, and
It's a coffee shop, right?
Let him talk.
All right.
Yeah, let him get his story out.
so I show up and they're like, all right, you're number 11, go sit in booth that's labeled 11. And I sit there and what do I find but another man at the booth? And I just start laughing. I'm like, how funny is this? This is I didn't realize it was that kind of speed dating.
That's the day and age we're in, Dan.
So at one point, I think the dude was just kind of like, hey, I don't think we're supposed to be seated next to each other. I think this is supposed to be like a guy-girl thing.
Well, that's just Trump talking.
Yeah. And then she's like, oh yeah, this shouldn't be the case. I'll move you.
Okay.
And then the way that had to have worked is that he got moved to an empty booth because I was talking to this young lady, and then when our time was up, I moved over to that booth and it was empty. And that's
that was your time to be alone, bitch.
and that's when I was like, I'm gonna go see our friend. I'm gonna go get this tea because
They
I
should
showed up
have,
fashionably late.
they should have seat warmers just for those instances where
So-
there's just some rando sitting there. That's always there.
Oh god damn it. I've never done anything like this. So do you spend like X amount of time? Is
Yeah,
it a
you get, like-
rotation type thing or
Yeah, you get like 5-6 minutes with the person.
interesting.
Yeah.
This sounds like a nightmare for me.
Oh yeah, I hated it. Why do you think I left? I left at 6:50. I got home when it ended. I was like, oh my god, this is great. So glad I left early.
Oh, you freed up a position so
Yeah.
nobody had to sit in the booth by
So it
themselves.
was you driving or Hank?
No, we didn't speak after that because
I'm
it was
sure.
a very, very awkward situation. I did legitimately point out how funny is this though. Like the first, you sit down and it's a dude.
What's
Sometimes that's where romance begins.
Yeah. What was someone was curious about this sort of thing? Like, what's the vibe of the type of person? And I don't mean that for you to like cast yourself in this, but like, what is the vibe of person that shows up to a thing like this?
It depends. There was I think based on my conversations with these women, some of them were kind of like, divorced, don't really have time to put up with your shit.
Yeah.
Some were
That's
nice.
the right kind of woman. That's
Yeah.
what you want. Yeah.
Some were nice. Some were eager to have a conversation.
Mhm.
But for the most part, one of the best conversations I had was with a bartender,
Oh.
and she was like, "I really wish there was alcohol here." I'm like, I do too.
Oh.
That's when you slip her that gin flask that you got in your pocket.
See,
I heard it too.
I needed to hit you guys up for a flask, and I didn't do it.
I got one in the car when we go.
Well, now I'm never doing it again.
That's checked off his list.
Yeah.
That's never to happen again.
I could just picture like feeding in there's like camelbacks that you can fill with.
Oh yeah.
And just like
It's
feed
just
the
got-
hose
it's
down
got-
from the drop ceiling.
He somehow got it worse, so he's just like pouring.
Yeah, we lowered it down. We lowered it down.
Got
That
the
way,
drop
when Dan
ceilings.
does hit that awkward moment, he doesn't know what to say. It's just like. It's like, excuse me for a moment.
I mean, for
And then we hoist it back up real quick. And then you pretend it didn't happen because it's all about gaslighting, Dan.
it's something like that. I've never done it, but it just seems like for somebody like me, such a nightmare.
Oh yeah, because like I was exhausted.
I mean, I give
the
you a lot
last
of
one.
props for doing it.
Yeah,
I was going to say
yeah,
the same thing.
yeah.
I think that does really deserve some props because
Yeah.
honestly, like, yeah, I don't think I would have the balls for it.
Well, it's also like first of all, I had to have several gin drinks before I even
I
showed
mean,
up.
I
fair,
was with
but
you. For
yeah.
this.
Yeah.
It was delightful.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah, like
delightful.
we had an extra one,
Yeah.
and I was like, well, I'm gonna be late, but I also didn't care.
That resulted in me having 12 whiskeys.
I'm gonna be the bad boy.
Yeah, I didn't put my name tag on. I didn't fill out the card.
Perfect.
I didn't do anything that they asked me to do, save for just fill out the thing on my phone,
Yeah.
and I did that when I got home. It's
Yeah.
like fuck this.
Oh my goodness.
I was so
When you
like
got home.
I was such a freaking chip on my shoulder type thing. Like people were like, "What?" Like the girls would be like, "All right, what's your name?" And I'm like, "Oh, that's right, I didn't put my name tag on. I don't play by the rules apparently."
I'm a bad boy.
And he doesn't answer them at all.
Serious question,
Yes.
Dan. I'm actually not even joking, though I have been drinking, so we can take this with a grain of salt.
All right.
Can we go and cosplay this the next time it happens at the cafe? Because I have a great like cowboy costume in mind, and I just think that this would be fun. And we've never met before, obviously.
Stay
My
tuned for that.
Yeah.
Oh Christ.
And I'm
almighty.
going there for a D&D thing. I forget when, but I hope it's not the same.
Are you joking?
No,
They're doing D&D at the cafe.
this is the second time, yeah.
Can we give it, Dan? Can you give it a shout out to the cafe? We're talking about it the whole goddamn time.
Yes,
Yeah.
the Revolutionary Cafe. It's in Tom's River. It's
Yeah.
in it's off of what is it?
Indian Head Road?
Indian Head.
571
Yeah.
Indian Head. Yeah,
Indian
and
Head.
Route 9.
It's a very nice place. You should check it out if you've made it this far into the podcast. Obviously, like you
No,
got good,
please do.
good
Give-
food.
if you're
good-
around, give your business to it. The food's excellent. The service is excellent. You will not be disappointed.
Yes, exactly. So check that out.
Mm.
Tell them Loud and Drunk sent you.
And there we are.
Yeah.
And we're gonna cosplay there.
I mean,
And
we can try.
I just
always
hope
try.
that the owner doesn't hear this because when we show up in full cowboy outfit,
She will kill all of us.
She's on the
Yeah.
phone right now.
I hope not. I hope not.
You're on the Loud and Drunk podcast.
She was our first caller.
Oh my goodness! All right, yeah. There we
All
are.
right. Anyway, any other questions on this? No one's going to take a swipe.
No, like I said,
Did you
I'm
get any
proud of
numbers?
you. I would never do it. I would not have the nuts to fucking do it.
Yeah.
Even with drinks ahead of time. That's straight up.
I was ruining it the entire fucking week. Like I legitimately sent her a text.
I mean, were you talked into it?
No,
Or-
no.
Oh, okay.
I have this mode. I guess it's like the military part of me.
Yeah.
Where it's just like, oh yeah, because everything else has been going so great.
No.
Like so, like
This might as well.
you might as well just try it. And then I was just like, oh, I'm gonna make myself do this, aren't I?
Mhm.
Oh,
Well, like,
boy.
I truly appreciate that you fucking did it.
Yeah.
Like, straight up. I would never.
Yeah.
I'd be so inside my own head about it. No chance.
I didn't even think it was still a thing. Like I kind of remember it when I was a teenager. It was kind of on the way out, like a speed dating thing at coffee shops.
He did.
But then it just wasn't a thing when I was like of age to really put any kind of whole
Here's
heart
something
into it.
fucked up that I just remembered. When you and I were in high school together, I doubt you would remember, but they did a matchmaking service thing in high school. How fucked
Oh,
up
that's
wow.
even
That's
weirder.
weird,
You
yeah.
filled out a paper. I didn't show up for it.
Oh.
And I'm positive you did it.
That's a certain. I do all right though.
Yeah. But I remember, and it like matched you up. You got a printout of fellow students you'd be compatible with. Like, how fucked up is that?
That is weird.
Yeah, that's
'Cause
weird.
It's like
Back
no
into my
wonder
fucking
bullying
head.
became a super thing,
Yeah.
and now we don't like it.
Why would you do that in high school? It's like, hey kids, you want to fuck?
Right.
Yeah,
Like that's
that's why you had parties.
I mean, the answer is yes.
Yeah, the answer's
yeah,
always
that is
yes.
the age where you're like, yes, I would like very much to do something to that.
I'm
That young woman
interested
over
in
there.
making bad decisions
Yes.
sexually.
Yes.
I think they did it for Valentine's Day of senior year.
Nice.
And it was so like,
That's
it was,
when I have my best.
I
sex.
kind of
Yeah,
remember
stuff.
something to that
Yeah, yeah.
effect, but
and
not
this was
like that.
they probably it was like probably 2 months before they did that job aptitude test thing that
Oh yeah.
and I remember this is
And
so
nobody's a
stupid, so
janitor.
funny. What I got was I'd be an excellent nut gatherer.
What does that even mean?
Holy
You'd be a better squirrel than a human?
Yeah. Yeah. I forgot about that. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Wow.
wow.
A nut
All the
gatherer.
trauma just comes back.
Yeah.
Carter was
Yeah.
a nut gatherer, wasn't he?
I'm sorry. Who?
Peanut
Carter?
farmer.
Peanut farmer.
Yeah, same thing.
It's a totally different thing. He ran a farm. He didn't gather nuts. That's
Yeah, sounds like he's
literally what a
gathering nuts.
He
Okay,
liter-
he's harvesting nuts.
He
Whatever.
literally- he was told to be a squirrel.